This is another edition to the ongoing mini-series called Localhost 1000, where I'm documenting the progress of building web apps and startups while teaching the things I learned along the way. So I've been consuming a lot of SaaS tech entrepreneurship type of content over the past 3 years now, since I started working in tech. And in some ways, I was paying off my ignorance debt, if you will. But I'm at a point where now I need to start acting or executing on my knowledge. So I'm constantly looking for ideas or problems to solve around me so I can start a potential business or startup around it. So I have seen different people implement different versions of this strategy to organize their ideas. But this is the technique that I found the most helpful in organizing my tech startup ideas or any ideas for that matter. And hopefully it helps you too. So I want to walk you through my notes page where I write down most of my ideas when it comes to me. Sometimes I just write it down on a piece of paper or put it down in my Notion app or something. The key here is to put it down somewhere where it's accessible to you rather than just let it off pass as a thought. But this is the way how I organize my ideas regardless of what app I'm using. I treat this place as a backlog of ideas where I go to whenever I need inspiration, and not to lose some of my ideas, like I mentioned, just as a thought. Some of your ideas may be trash, meaning it's not worth pursuing, but it's still worth to put it down somewhere, because when you have them all in one place, maybe you come up with an idea which is a combination of one or two more ideas. So it's worth putting it down all in one place and not lose them. So I basically have few buckets or categories for my ideas. So I just throw them into one of these categories to have some intentionality behind it. So I want to go through each of these buckets or categories and talk through my thought process behind it. And now some of these ideas can be a combination of two different categories, but it's really about where do you want to take the project and what to do with it basically. And all these categories can be money making, but it's all about how you want to execute any of these ideas. So to start with, so the number one category I have here is fun projects. So sometimes you want to build projects just for the fun. Sometimes you want to use something you built for yourself or maybe for your friends. So this is why I'm saying this might be a combination of category. It can be a fun project and also scratching your own itch. You never know, some of this idea can be the next idea if there's any traction to it. So some of the examples I have here is a meme generator. So I would personally like to deploy a meme generator online where you can generate your own memes and download it and share it among your friends. I know there are already like hundreds of them out there, but I just want to have one of my own. So it's just a fun project to build. It's just a fun project that your friends can use and tell other people that, yeah, I built it, or Aslah built it. One of them is meme generator. One of them is a fitness tracking app. It is a fun project to me because I'm into fitness, and I'm also kind of scratching my own itch of having something that is built by me. It can be a combination of that. And also you can view these projects as just not for fun, but also as a lead gen for some of your other ideas that may be in other categories or other buckets. So the next category of ideas that I have here is scratching my own itch. The number one here is venue booker. So this is something that I found that doesn't exist, at least locally here. So when I wanted to book a venue, I went online to find if there is any venue bookers, like a marketplace, and I couldn't find any. It's not something that I want to build because, okay, I think this is going to bring me the most margin or most revenue, or because this is the next big idea. It's just because it doesn't exist and you want to solve that problem and maybe potentially get some income out of it. It can be one of your many indie projects that you're running. This is one bucket I would put whenever I'm getting an idea. This is one of the buckets that I would put, okay, this is scratching my own itch and also maybe potentially making money down the road, and maybe someone wants to buy it from you. So it can be anything. So this is my second category. The third category of idea that I have here is a niche idea. So I have this special category because sometimes I I want to build something for only a specific group of people. It's not a product that I want to make it appealing to everyone. It's just something for a specific niche. There is this saying, riches are in the niches, and it's actually true. So one of the idea that I have here is, as a Salesforce freelancer job board, there's a lot of job boards out there to find remote jobs, non-remote jobs, but I don't want to build again in job board, if that makes sense. I just want to build something for a specific group of people. So in this case, if I build a job board just for Salesforce professionals, it can be developers, admins, architects. It kind of made sense to me because I was thinking, okay, what if there's a job board only Salesforce people would go? Then you're targeting only one niche group of people, and you don't need to make your product appealing to everyone. And the second idea, which I already executed on, is like a coding platform like LeetCode for Salesforce, which is what I built, which is called the Apex Playground, which is essentially a LeetCode for Salesforce, where you can practice programming in Apex, which is a backend language used in Salesforce. This was a combination of two categories, like I mentioned before, scratching my own itch and also a niche idea, because when I wanted to go to a platform where I can just get some of my Apex syntax down, I couldn't find a platform. I had to go through these hurdles of setting up my VS Code or going through tailored playgrounds that's provided by Salesforce to get practice Apex. So this is my solving my own itch plus a niche idea where you can market to a specific group of people. Now, the fourth bucket or category of idea is something that I'm very bullish on. So, because most often when we think about ideas of building startups or any SaaS ideas, people talk about coming up with the next Facebook or next Instagram or next social media platform, or maybe the next Uber. Like, they always think about the big unicorn companies which they can build. But if you're in the business of making money, or not in the business of being the next thing, which you can totally have the aspiration to be, but you can also be in the business of making money. So that's why I'm very bullish on the ideas of clones. So maybe there are certain business ideas or SaaS that is working in a certain part of the world and it doesn't exist locally, and you just want to clone that and build that version locally for your local market. So if you're in the business of making money, it's a viable option to pursue. So that's why I have a category just called clones, where I see something that's working somewhere else and I want to clone it locally. And there is also, in the clone category, I have the ideas where it already exists in your locality or it already exists where you are, but you just want to build a better version of it, right? I heard Tim Ferriss once saying that there's always a market for the best. One of the examples that I can give here is Better Best Reality website. So we have a website here in Prague or in the Czech Republic where you can, it's basically a marketplace where tenants can find flat owners and vice versa, right? Flat owners can find tenants. And that website is absolute trash. It doesn't work properly. But when I looked at their revenue, I saw that in 2021, they had like 1 million revenue with a trash website. So I was thinking, if a trash website can make that much money, why couldn't I build a better clone and get a portion of that revenue? So this is just my thought process. Maybe everyone is not thinking the same way. So this is the category of clones. Even if it exists, you can always bring a better product to the market and have a clone of the existing one. And Turo. So Turo, if all the North Americans, if you're watching, you already know what Turo is. It's like an Airbnb peer-to-peer marketplace for cars, right? So we do have a version of that here in Prague, but it's not very well built and it's not very well known as Turo. So I still see it as an opportunity to build here in Europe, because in Europe, there's no such thing called Turo. Like in North America, everyone knows Turo. So there's no such thing as Turo here. So there's a potential where you can build a clone of Turo and be the Turo of Europe. So that also comes under the category of clones. Now, the fifth and final category, or the buckets that I have here, is ideas that have the potential to be the idea. So this is the one I was mentioning before, where we are thinking about next Facebook, next Uber, next Airbnb. So these are the idea because you're trying to solve a problem that hasn't been solved before, or you're bringing into the market a product that did not exist before. That means it's like the idea. That does not mean it has to be always revolutionary. I'm just saying it can be something that is non-existent in the market. I wrote down here recently, which is a marketplace for bubble.io templates. I actually tried to validate this. Then I came down to knowing that bubble.io doesn't let you sell templates outside their marketplace. So I was thinking, why can't I have a marketplace where I just sell templates and people can come there and buy free templates, have a bunch of designers design few good looking templates and sell them for a price. And I went online, I couldn't find any existing marketplace. I found the marketplace of Bubble, but at the end I read that there's a rule that Bubble has where you cannot sell it as a third-party template. You can only always buy it through Bubble's marketplace. So I validated the idea and I cannot pursue it. And maybe I can have a workaround, but I've not look into it. So I'm saying this is not a revolutionary idea, but this is a non-existent thing that I thought, okay, I can bring it to the market. Now, if we want to talk about revolutionary things, one of the ideas when blockchain was a hot topic I had was tokenized EV charging platform. At that point there was a token for everything. So I thought, why can't we have a token for all the EVs? I don't know, call it EV coin or something. And you could potentially centralize all the charging platforms and have them tied to a specific token and purchase or pay for your charging using your token. So this is some grand idea that came to me one day, and I just put it as it has the potential to be the idea. But how it can be monetized, how it can go to the market, none of this is verified, but I just put it into a category because it just came to my mind. So this is all my thought process of whenever I have an idea, what category does it belong to? Maybe it's a category of one or two, but just to have some intentionality behind it and just to organize your ideas into few things rather than just it being all over the place. That's my simple strategy to organize my thoughts or ideas whenever I have them. I am particularly looking for only tech startup ideas, but you may be looking into any ideas, like any potential opportunity to start a business. For that, you can also create similar categories. It can be a fun business to build. If you want to go down that road, you can be having a business to scratch your own itch, solve your own problem. It can be solving a problem for a niche group of people. It can be a clone of an existing one, but you're just making a better product, or you're just bringing into a market where it doesn't exist. Or it can be the idea that you are building or the business that you're building. This just helps me compartmentalize my ideas into few buckets, and I thought it might be helpful to share with you. Hopefully this helps at least some of you, and let me know in the comments below if you have any special techniques or strategies to organizing your ideas, and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have been, thanks for watching.